We are live. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Leaders Talk Communications. I have been to Belgium and the Netherlands since I was here last. My daughter's studying abroad in Amsterdam, and I went with my mother to visit her, and we had an awesome time. I rode a bike in that crazy, wild, bike-ified city and just really enjoyed seeing it from that vantage point. Then I got back and got really sick, which meant that my well laid plan of taking the break morphed into something that I did not expect and threw me off my game for a while. And that's what happens in business sometimes, right? We get thrown off our game. It certainly happens with communications in any organization. So I am here today with Jeff Isaac, the CEO of Pathway to Adventure Council of Chicago, who has certainly manage changes and switch ups as a leader there. Welcome, Jeff. It is so nice to have you join me here today. I appreciate you taking the time. We met through a friend of mine, Robert Johnson. I had an interview with someone else who I met through Robert. So Robert's he's one of the best connectors I've ever met,
Absolutely.
and I'm grateful that you spared some time with me.
Oh,
So
absolutely.
Leaders Talk Communications is all about understanding how executives manage communications
Mhm.
at their business or their nonprofit. My goal is to have other leaders learn from you, to hear your stories and gain insights to help them better navigate their own leadership communication.
Mhm.
And I also want communications professionals to hear what's going on in the mind of leaders as it relates to communication so that they can better serve and support you. So let's just jump right in. Tell us about Pathways to Adventure Council, and tell me if I'm even saying the name correctly.
Yeah.
What you do and what inspires you most about your role there as executive director. As CEO, I know that you've been there for some time.
Absolutely. Pathway to Adventure Council was formed over 10 years ago. It's from a merger from M&A that they combined four marketplaces here in Chicagoland into one. And I was in Florida, running that market down there in Palm Beach, all the way north through Vero and to the backside of Orlando. And they wanted me to come and interview. And 9 years later, a lot of changes. Still
Yeah.
here, 8 winners. So yeah, I'm still hanging in there, and we've done some pretty awesome things here.
I
Pathway to
love how you
Adventure.
say 8 winters. That's
Yes,
how you
they
define
count it
it.
that way. Yeah, it's almost like prison sentences, right? Like you're,
Mhm.
how many times you've been in.
Wow.
But yeah, just getting through the winter is a for a Southern person, it's a pretty big chore.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
Pathway to Adventure Council covers 1,600 square miles. We have assets in 3 states: Michigan, Indiana, Illinois. In those 1,600 square miles, we manage the Scouting America program through four offices that we have, an executive team and a support team. And that group, not directly, but a lot of times indirectly and sometimes directly, work with
Mhm.
about 5,000 volunteers who also work with about 12,300 youth. And we are
Okay.
basically the back office. We do all the employment, all the insurance, the legal work. We do all the governance, fundraising, manage the endowment. We do all that back work, marketing,
Hmm.
all of it.
And tell me what did when you talk about assets, what do you mean by that? You've got assets in those three
Land,
areas.
building.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, we had it in 4 states, but I divested of Wisconsin about 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years ago. So we had assets
Okay.
all over the place.
Okay, so you've got properties where you're serving, working with youth in those
Yep.
areas. And what inspires you about the work that you're doing at Pathways to Adventure Council?
So actually, I didn't even know this thing existed when I came out of college. But within about 4 to 5 years, I figured out that I could change a lot of things pretty quickly and improve a lot of people's lives pretty quickly. And more so, break the cycle of poverty for a lot of kids in some hard to serve or underserved areas. And everyone is going to get a big pitch out of this. They're going to get uh, their thought process of it. They're going to be the next generation of leaders. But a lot of times in some hard to serve areas, you got to put a little bit more effort in to make sure you get the exact same result. And what we've seen is that the exact same results happen over and over again. So I've been around long enough that people I've supported decades ago, children now have graduated from college. So not just them graduating, their children have graduated from college, and
Hmm.
they're taught finances, they're taught everything, discipline, leadership, respect, all those things. And once you
Right.
have that at a young age, it propels you for the rest of your life.
Right, right. Who are the, I thank you for sharing that. Who are the different stakeholders that you have to engage with as the leader of Pathway to Adventure Council? And you've got to influence and inspire folks to take action so you can continue to support these young folks. Um, and you've got to do that in a way that overcomes past issues that the organization has had.
Mhm.
Where do you thrive in communicating and connecting with those stakeholders to ensure that they continue their support of Pathway to Adventure Council?
Absolutely, it's quite a bit of them because we've been around for 116 years as an organization. So that's a lot of generations of people we have to deal with. And believe it or not, these folks start from the executive board. Make sure I got the right executive board, the right dynamic, the right diversity on that board at all levels. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so we do that very, very well. Same thing with the team, the executive team. We have an extremely diverse team. You know, women of all backgrounds. Half of the executives on our team are female. A
Oh.
lot of women of color. First female to actually run a team in Indiana. Uh, it came from here. So we do a good job on diversity. We don't run from that at all. We embrace that greatly.
Mm-hmm.
You have the institutions that we work with. We have over 300, 400, 430 programs coming out of about 350 institutions. Our folks work with those institutions to make sure they have what they need, or what do you need to get started. Let's use something, if you're not familiar with Chicago, projects that we have going on, starting, say, on the South Side. It might take us about 3, 4, 5 months to actually get the project off the ground, but you have to work with the community to find out what their needs are, not what PTAC think they should have, but what that community says, this is what we need. And it might be something totally
Mm-hmm.
different. And we simply acquiesce
Talk to
and develop
Go
a
ahead.
program around what their needs are.
Talk to me about how you gather that insight from community. What
Sorry
do
about
you
that.
do to?
My lights are on a timer, so if
Oh, okay.
I still too long, they'll click off. Uh,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Tell me how you gather those insights, and then I want to, every time I ask this question of a leader, and I talk about, I want to hear how what your secret sauce is in connecting and communicating with these different stakeholders. They tend to like expand. I know that it takes a team, but I want to hear about Jeff Isaac's particular secret sauce, and then I'm particularly curious about how you gather insights from community because it's really important. We often especially a lot of nonprofit organizations, they see a need that's in community and they seek to fill that need. And it is certainly desirable to constantly and recommended as a communications person to get feedback from folks in community, see actually how they need to be supported. So how do you do that? And then speak specifically to your secret sauce in connecting with
Oh,
folks.
absolutely. I grab bulls by the horn. I go directly to the corporation, to the nonprofit, to the after school program. I deal with the senior leadership of that organization first. I bring my team along. We dissect what the needs are. Then we bring back within 48 hours, actually, because we do this so easy. Within 48 hours, a roadmap for them, and let them pick and choose what they want out of our program. How they might not need our uniform wearing program. They might need our STEM program. They might need
Mm-hmm.
the high adventure program because kids in the city or suburban kids have never been to rappelling off a 5-story platform or something. So you have to figure out what that need is. A lot of times people tell you things that we think we're flexible enough to kind of handle it. Like, I need a program for young ladies with low self-esteem. Let's use that.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
Mm-hmm.
create a
Mm-hmm.
program just for those young ladies. It doesn't matter if it's in the suburbs or inner city. It doesn't matter where it is, underserved. We don't really care. It could be whatever group.
Yeah.
We'll help
Okay.
them design that program, and before you know it, it becomes something they absolutely love because we can adapt it to their needs for that particular environment.
I see. Okay.
This is not your
Um,
granddad scouting program. No,
yeah, so you're in community speaking to folks about what their needs
right.
are and then responding with programs. I think that's wonderful.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a bit about communications challenges that you in particular have faced as a leader, and how you've handled it. I know, I'm going to let you answer that question. Like, what has been your one of your number one challenges as communications challenges as a leader, whether internally or externally? And how have you dealt with that?
So let's deal with just simply because I've been in 5 different states. I've you know and been the CEO of 3 of those, and I was back in the late '90s, early 2000s, the deputy and COO in Memphis. But let's just start with
Mm,
Chicago alone, which is a very unique animal. You have to communicate in a way by which you have to understand that everyone here has a stake in something, and you have to kind of placate to what that thing is, and you have to figure out
mm,
exactly what's important to them. Remember, 3 blocks away, they don't really care what's going on, but right
mm,
now, right here in this space, they care about that. So you have to communicate sincerely what their needs are, and don't use, oh well, they're doing this across town, or some corporation is doing this, you should try it because they're doing it. No, I need to know what that entity needs to be successful, and if we can't fill that void, we'll tell them we can't do that.
mhm, mhm.
That's we're not part of the criminal justice system and things of that sort. They want us to do something part of we're not a part of that. We don't have the infrastructure of people power to make that happen.
Okay.
But other than that, if it's trying to communicate it to them, it's pretty easy. You tell me what you want. It's like Burger King. Have it your way. You tell me what you want. What's your ideal for your community? And they sometimes are very vague, might not really understand it. And I tell them, let us come back to you. What we see is a vision. And within 48 hours, we flood them with stuff they never even thought of.
So I guess I didn't realize that's how your organization worked. You do have standard programs that you take out into community and recommend to people,
Oh,
right? But then you
the
also,
Yeah, but yeah, the 450 programs, we do not own them. Pathway to
yeah,
Liberty Council or no council in America own the programs. They're owned by the churches, the schools, the Rotary clubs that sponsor them.
right.
We don't
Okay.
own them. Our job is to equip Chicago PD for our Explorer Posts. So they have a Explorer Post where children of color, mostly children of color, learn about police officers. They have these kind of Explorer Post uniforms that work along with the cops to understand what law enforcement is and what the legal system is.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they
Okay.
own
Okay.
that program. We don't own that program.
Okay, so we were talking about challenges. You were sharing that folks will come in and you can respond to them. What's the challenge that you're mentioning that you faced?
The challenge is a lot of times people have no idea truly what they want.
Mm,
So my
mm-hmm.
job is, and just like if let's say I say the word blue to you right now, you are going to think of the color blue or the word blue. So I usually have to plant things in people's heads like, okay, do you want in 2 years to be thriving in this way or that way? Because if I tell you, if you stay where you are, you're going nowhere. So I give them a picture of what the
Mm-hmm.
future could look like. The future could
Mm,
look like whatever we design that thing to be. The only thing I
yeah.
want from you is to be committed to get it done. So when I communicate that to you, and if you pause or back up, I'll do baby steps. And then I'll find out if you're not ready, we'll completely back away. But if I give you a
Got
vision
it.
of what that could look like, we're going for it.
Got it. So folks don't, I find that also in the work that I do, companies don't often know what they need from a communications perspective. And it's helpful to bring your expertise and experience from other, I'm sure, from other companies, from other organizations and what's worked successfully for them to bring ideas to them. Tell me about, speaking of successes, leaders have different platforms, their favorite platforms that they use or vehicles to communicate, that make them that are most effective for them, that allow them to connect, and communicate most effectively with people. Some folks have said social media channels, other folks have said one-on-one meetings, other folks have said, what is it that works for you, Jeff? What's the most successful vehicle or platform that you use that helps you communicate well with folks who are important to the success of Pathway to Adventure Council?
So the basic internal stuff is fine. We do that very, very well. But externally, I'm not. You're not going to find me on like an Instagram or all these other things. I'm not going to be involved in social media at that level. Not because I don't. Not because I don't think it's a necessity. I think for me to make sure I keep myself away from the craziness of that particular world, I deal a lot with other CEOs and other thought leaders who can move that needle. And if I can get one or two people in the room who can move the needle, I now move the needle for 1,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 people.
Okay.
Just being around the right person. Um,
So
so
your secret your desired vehicle is to get folks like face to face and one on one with folks.
correct,
Yeah,
correct,
yeah.
correct. It
Um,
usually starts with a quick Zoom call, but then they want to see me in person because
yeah,
that person is a door opener for something much greater. I don't spend my time trying to meet 10 different people to get to that person. I need to
right.
meet that person. I get to that person quick and fast because I know that person has something that I need to make sure something else happens. So it's all
Gotcha.
about connecting the dots. Don't waste your time trying to meet one person, meet another person, meet another person, meet another person. That takes a long time. It's pretty exhausting. And that's kind of what Chicago does. I kind of cut through the mustard on that situation. I find out who
Yeah,
can introduce me to this person. Let's have that
yeah.
discussion. They're gonna say yay or nay. My feelings are not broken.
Gotcha.
They say
No,
no.
I love that. You know, from a strategic communications perspective, it is very important to understand who your target audiences are,
Yes.
what you need to say is going to motivate and move
Yes.
them. And you also don't need to be
Yes.
in every channel, right? You don't need to devote tons of
Correct.
time in channels where the people you're trying to reach do not live, work, and play. So if the
You
folks that
get it.
you are
That's
trying to reach
exactly
are
it.
at a certain level, then that makes perfect
Yes.
sense that you understand which channels
Yes.
you need and which channels you don't. Okay, so I always ask this question. If you could wave a magic wand, what would you want the world to understand most deeply about you or about Pathway to Adventure Council in
Let's
Chicago?
let's start with Pathway to Venture Council. We are designed and hardwired to create the next generation of leaders. We've been doing it for an exceedingly long time. People you wouldn't even think of have come through our program. Most of the folks who run most things in America, by and large, a lot of them came out of our program. Well,
I
there's
want to I want to hear some of those names if you can share.
so the basic names of people that most people would know that came to our program as a youth. Everybody from Hank Aaron to Barack Obama to Magic Johnson to you name it. Those basic folks. A lot of your corporate CEOs came through the system. A lot of governors, a lot of senators, people
Hmm.
people you can think of. Let me shock you with this one. The Pope is from this council.
Oh, interesting.
Yes, the Pope is from here. He's from this council.
That does surprise me.
Just kind of as a kid. Yeah, from this council.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
most of the people who've been to the moon, all that stuff. So have a lot
Yeah.
of have a huge lineage of people who've done some pretty fantastic things.
Yeah,
And
I
a lot of
didn't. So I interrupted you, but go ahead. So I do want to hear, if you could wave that magic wand, what you want people to
yes,
understand.
right. So for PTAC, if we can create the next generation of leaders, people who can go above the fray. So when you teach a young person how to not be distracted by things that are not beneficial to their success, you're creating leaders that can be extremely disciplined, responsible, respectful, understand the grace of God, and that's just my piece, because we have due to God in our sentence, due to God and country. If they can understand that, you're going to have generational leaders that will transform this whole country. But it takes us a long time to get, especially people of color, attracted because they see this as a white middle class organization. You'd be shocked at how
Mm,
many kids of color in this program. The first,
interesting.
yeah, the first African American female Eagle Scout is from this council.
Hmm.
The first one.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
She's just
All
one of
right.
many. She's one of many.
Yeah. All right. So the thing you want folks to understand most deeply is that it takes time to develop the leaders, and why is that important?
Because people think that I can grab somebody at 18 or 25 years old and make them a leader. No, you want somebody who
Mm-hmm.
understands leadership. You got to start young. You
Right,
have you got to get
right.
them before the habits form. Get them before things go awry. What's the old statement? It's easier to build strong children than to what's it? Uh,
I know where you're getting at, but
yeah,
yeah,
to remake a man or something, or rehab adults.
yeah,
I forgot the
yeah.
phrase, but yes, if you have
And
young people,
the Yeah, and
go right.
the implication of that for your organization is that you need long-term support
Yes,
in order to
correct,
ensure those long-term outcomes.
absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time today, Jeff. I
Well, this is
appreciate
awesome. Thank
it.
you.
I wish you success in Chicago, and making it also through another one of those winters, which maybe you won't have to.
Yeah,
All right. Thank you so much for your
thank you.
time.
Absolutely. Thank you, my friend.
All right.
All right.